if you have just gotten your heart broken, okay, just going through a breakup of some kind, yeah, maybe like you dump somebody, because that's hard too. But either way, you're going through some kind of breakup, even if it's from a situationship or relationship, this episode is for you. And I really want you to have an open mind. Okay, well, clearly you're listening to this podcast, Crazy Love or Nothing, because you already have a growth mindset. So that's awesome. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe because, I really put my heart into these episodes. And today's episode, I am really bringing it for you because I keep seeing it in this community where so many amazing women are in the valley of despair, where they are just like heartbroken, disappointed from another failed relationship. Okay, so this is where my biggest piece of advice for you, okay, is to be proactive versus reactive. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? It is, even though right now the furthest thing from your mind is, oh my God, to get into another relationship right? That's exactly what's going to happen. You don't understand how many women I talk to where they're like, oh my God, I just got out of this awful thing and whatever. And I feel for them. I'm like, oh my gosh, and then they're just like, I'm just going to they don't do anything necessarily to kind of really be healed, like to actually take steps to heal. They're kind of just like, I'm just going to give it time. I'm just going to just, I'll get over this with time. And then what ends up happening is they get into another relationship situationship because they're just being reactive. In life, whatever comes your way, if you're not being intentional, if you don't do that inner work where you're like, okay, wait a second, why did this relationship situationship go to shit? Like, you have to really ask yourself these questions. You have to be like, wait a second, what was my part in it? Like, what did I do? Why did I choose him? Why did I stay for so long? What the hell? Like, I need to own my shit. Okay. And you actually need to break that shit down. And sometimes we cannot see it. When you are in it, you're just like, oh my God, what an asshole. And I get it. I totally feel that. And I remember those feelings. And that's why I'm a huge fan of getting a different perspective from people that have healthy relationships, that have a relationship where you would want. Do you see what I mean? So don't take, advice from people like, they're single and jaded and miserable. I think if they're single, they are obviously, maybe there's good experiences. I'm not saying all single people are jaded and miserable. You understand? But if you are trying to take advice about your love life, okay, so then you listen to someone that actually has like their love life freaking in order, right? But be proactive. Be like, wait a second, what happened? Why am I feeling this way? Because if you don't actually take action, you don't do anything, the next thing that will happen is, because it's natural, people are going to look at you. People are going to give you attention. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel like, oh my God, that makes me feel better because I was totally feeling like shit about myself. My ego was hurt, or I invested my heart into this other person, and this could be a good idea. And you kind of go with the flow. And next thing you know, you're with another person that, guess what? Round and round we go. The merry-go-round of shit. Like, it's like, are you kidding me? You may not, and you don't know it. You'll find out after you wasted more time, right? And so I am really trying to empower you. And the way to be empowered truly is to say, okay, I need to own my shit. I need to be proactive. I just got out of this relationship. What the hell was my part in this? Why do I feel like this? Do you see what I'm saying? The more you can lean into owning it, seeing it, you will now then be on the lookout next time that shit comes your way. Because so many times we end up dating the same person over and over again. Have you ever felt that way? You're like, wait a second, this just all feels so familiar. This guy is a lot like my ex. Yeah, because if you don't actually really realize and learn from your mistakes and from why you've been choosing certain people, you're going to just keep doing it over and over again. Okay? So when you feel like, oh, this is so familiar is not always good. It really isn't. That's like a red flag city time. Okay? So I this episode, you guys, this as you're listening, I hope it's like you could probably be feeling like, oh shit, getting called out. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing, because this is when you can actually start taking steps and avoid making the same mistake. Okay? Because I truly, truly see that you are worthy of love. You are amazing. Like I see and feel so connected to this community. I'm like, there you are. You have that little girl inside of you that believes in that happily ever after. And I'm like, that exists for you. But it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. You have to be proactive. You have to take action. You have to choose. It's like a decision. It's a decision. Okay? So much of your love life, treat it like your career. Treat it like your career. And so that's why, like, I really am, I feel so proud of being a coach to women who are like making a decision to change their love life and say, well, I'm not going to just go with the flow anymore, because when I go with the flow, I end up in a bullshit relationship once again, wasting more time, right? And then repeating the same story. So if you just got out of a breakup, okay, reach out to someone, shoot me a DM, the Jackie Lore, drop me a comment here, reach out to a therapist, reach out to a friend or a family member that has a happy, healthy relationship. Talk to somebody, because if you just stay and see things through your lens, you're not going to learn from your mistakes. It's very hard to just like, oh, well, now I know what to do next time. No, if you don't really get a different perspective, clean that lens that you're seeing life through, you're going to just stick to the familiar. And it's not going to be because you're consciously choosing it. It's like your brain is like, oh, this is a good feeling. This is nice. Even though it's toxic shit. Do you see what I'm saying? I hope this is resonating with you. I know that I was so guilty of this. And this is part, of like what I do here in this podcast is, man, I wish I could have heard this when I was in it, when I was in the valley of despair, when I was going through breakups and getting my heart broken and thinking all of this shit. I was like, man, I wish I could have heard this. This is freaking gold. So I hope you are hearing this and you do something with it. Do it. Take action. Because I don't want you to repeat the same bullshit. For your sake, you're so worthy of so much more than that freaking asshole that couldn't commit, or the guy that lied to you, or the guy that just wasn't it. Whatever. I want you to find your person who exists. Do not forget. Okay? So as you're putting yourself out there, do not forget to settle for anything less than crazy love, because it has to be crazy love or nothing. Until next time, thank you.